we go. Yeah, I got caught. I'm looking at the schedule. I was like, whoa, I'm on. Dude, I'm a goofball, man. Everybody, welcome. NFL Overtime with my man, Tommy, and the monkey man, Curtis. We're ready to rock and roll, talk some Bills and Fins and football. Hey, man, what are you going to do? Anyway, hi, everybody. Good to see everybody. Hey, so, Tommy. How you feeling this week, man? I thought you gave me the cold shoulder. I sent you the injury list, and you're like, well, on to the next player. I'm like, fan almost on. Not like, dude, that might be a challenging matchup. It was like straight into.
That's right. On to the next guy. Next man up, I said. No, next man up. By the way, I'm telling you guys, Curtis is going to get much better at these lives because he is the man at the videos. Like you nail those. Watch, give Curtis a couple more episodes, and he's going to be like he's done this forever. I know it, Curtis. Trust me, I know it. But
you're a good man. That's why I pay you the money I do for those commercials. Excellent job, man. Bonus coming inbound. All right, everybody, let's. We're gonna rock and roll. We're gonna talk about Bills versus Dolphins. Big game. There's just so much. I don't know. Something with this season is just so much unexpected stuff going on. And honestly, I did not expect the Dolphins to be 2-0. I expected the Bills to be 2-0, but I didn't expect this kind of injury list coming into the game. And and now my man Tehran is either heavily injured or out. And it's just, my head keeps whipping back and forth as an evaluator, as a fan. So, Tommy, you're the guy. You get to go first. Give me your prediction. Well, just give me your thoughts on the general outlay of the game.
Okay. So, I think it's going to be a good game. But listen, I know I'm going to sound cocky, but we are the better team. I really, truly believe that. I believe this is more of a test for you guys than it is a test for us. Okay, yeah, I'm just being real. I thought week one for you guys against a better defense in Baltimore, who, by the way, and I want your audience to know, I'm not shitting on the Dolphins here by what I'm about to say, but you played a much better defense in New England, who, by the way, is not the New England of old on defense. They're just a better scheme with a better coach that's a defensive coach who knows, okay, he is a game plan for Tua, and he held you guys at 13. Then you go against the Ravens, who, by the way, were last in the league last year against the pass, and they're last in the league this year so far against the pass. Now, it's only 2 weeks in, but it doesn't look good for Baltimore already against the pass, right? They're letting guys go free will down the field. So I don't know if I'm going to be like, I'm not super sold yet on what you guys can do in offense, only because that Baltimore's defense against the pass is pretty bad. They're pretty bad.
Well, let me hit on that.
Yeah, now, go ahead.
I totally agree, but what you saw with the Ravens last week was simply protection being there to allow Tua to have comfort and the receivers to get to that mid-clock, mid-play, deep play type availability for the routes. Because the Patriots schemed unbelievable. When you go through the tape, you see all kind of mixed zones. You see mixed man with zone. You see really a lot of pressure inside. I thought the way they leveled out the defense to force Tua to have to, get to that deeper pass play to be successful, but they would bring the pressure there. And so then the next week, Ravens were down some guys. They really don't. They have good front, but they're slow. And you saw them really limit the Dolphins that last part of the game where they started getting a little gas. They had some injuries, and the Dolphins' offensive line made some blocks. So what we saw is if we can get a real offensive line, Tua could be a successful quarterback, and this could be a dangerous combo. But without that, they won't. And that's just really, I think, the greatest thing to get taken out of that. And in some ways, I think it's being missed a little bit.
Yeah, well, that and you got to give your Dolphins defense credit as well, They were down 21 at the half. You guys definitely outscored them in the second half, right? Baltimore's offense wasn't scoring at will like they were in the first half, right? So the Dolphins defense had to do their job, right? And Baltimore's defense didn't. Because if Baltimore's offense continued how they were doing, even with their defense, shit in the bed, as I should say, they still would have beat you guys if their offense would have kept playing the way they were. But you guys adjusted. The second half was a totally different story, and that's how you guys came back. But we play a lot of zone defense.
Well, it's going to be tough with you because you guys can play your front four, get the rush, and stay,
exactly
8 guys dropping.
Right.
7 guys dropping.
Right. The only thing I would say in this game is what I can see you guys doing is there's going to be a lot of Tua's going to have to get the ball out earlier, and there's going to be a lot of slants, a lot of crosses to Hill, to Waddle, and it's going to be the yards after catch game, right? Can the Bills, prevent Waddle going 30 yards after catch? You know what I mean? Like that's the key, because even in the Baltimore game, there was a slant. I want to say it was. I could be wrong on the play, but it was maybe a 15-yard out. Correct me if I'm wrong, Curtis. And he took it to the house.
Like a crosser.
Yeah, a cross. It was exactly. Like, you can't let that happen. You know what I mean? You can't let that happen.
They played zone, but Tommy, that's why I really do like your defense way better, obviously, than the Ravens. They were playing man, which was nuts.
Yeah, I didn't. I didn't understand it. Now I will say though, Dane Jackson, if you watch the game, he's our number one right now because Trey White won't be back probably until week 8 after the bye. So losing him is a big deal, but
thank God
Christian Benton, right? But Christian Benton, yeah, thank God. It was more. I think it was more about precaution, but I'm sure there was a little bit more to it too. But I think he had full, if you watch the play over, he was already moving his legs on the field and his arms. You know what I mean? I think he was just really in a lot of pain. But they have to take you for precaution. And even Micah Hyde went to the hospital for the neck injury.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, so he also went as precaution, and he's out this game. So with the neck injury, it's not. I think it's more for precaution. We got Jaquan Johnson who's filling in, who's a hell of a listen. He's a great backup. He's every time he's come in, he's done his job. So I'm not too worried about that. Ed Oliver's gone out of this game.
I was surprised. I did a whole podcast with Oliver because he looked like he was going to be in. He said he was going to be out. And they flipped.
I thought so too. I thought Oliver was going to be back week 2. He sounded so confident. But I'm like, oh, okay, for sure, week 3, and no. So it must be worse than he thought, than the staff thought. Jordan Phillips got hurt hamstring on a play. He probably was just excited and was running after the interception. And I don't. Hopefully, it's nothing major, but he's had hamstring issues in the past. So hopefully, this isn't something that lingers. But the Micah Hyde, I wouldn't be too concerned because Jaquan Johnson is a good fill-in. And the real question is the rookies, Benford and Elam.
Yeah.
They played very well, but this is their first test of this season, right?
Big test.
Going against top 10 receivers. Let's be real. Yeah. One of top 5 in Hill, top 10 probably in Waddle as of right now. So this is a test, but what I want to see, and I have a feeling we'll see, you're going to see a lot of, because they play aggressive. You're going to see a lot of, they're going to be aggressive to the line. And I don't even mind if there's some penalties, which you're going to see. Some holding penalties.
You guys get a lot of penalties.
But I don't mind. Listen, honestly, that you will get that when you play aggressive. And some calls you won't get. Some calls are missed by the refs. Some calls the refs are going to let go. But I don't mind. I don't mind, especially against a Hill or Waddle. If they get beat, go ahead and hold them. I'll take the 5 or 15. Over a blown, because if you let that blown coverage on those guys, it's a wrap. There's no catching them, right? This isn't another receiver. You might get lucky, catch them, a safety. But I have a feeling that you're going to see a lot of that jamming up at the line. and you're also going to see the front get after Tua quick. So I think Tua's going to have to get
Tehran's not in. If Tehran's not in, I would say if Tehran's not in, the
it's going to be a long.
You're not going to be able to win. You just not.
Yeah.
I mean, you put Von Miller in front of a bag of sand, and then on the other side you got Rousseau against Little. I mean, that is, and honestly, to me, Settle. I'd rather have had Settle out than Oliver. Because we need to get some kind of run. And Oliver's not so good at the run defense, and Settle is a giant. And Eichenberg, our left guard, struggles with big men. And Connor is a good run blocker at center, but he kind of struggles a little bit with power. And Settle kind of offsets both those guys. And then Daquan on the other side will match up pretty well with Hunt.
Right.
So I'd rather have had Oliver.
Yeah. Yeah. We've been, I know we didn't talk much on the Titans game, but our run defense, which I predicted because we are deep on the D line, we added a lot of bulk. You saw what happened week 1. We cut the run game out quick. And week 2 was our real test, our first test, which is against one of the better running backs in the league, right? Top 3, let's say. And held them to 1.9 a carry. They got nothing going. And I said that will be the key in the game to put the ball in Tannehill's hand. And you saw how it went, right? Tannehill. I'm not saying Tannehill is bad because I don't think he's bad.
He's a piece of the puzzle.
I think a lot of people are hard on Tannehill. And I don't think he's a bad quarterback. I think he's a middle of the range quarterback. I think he can get you. I think he can get you to the playoffs if you got a good surrounding cast with them. But the problem is with Tennessee is they lost AJ Brown. So let's say you do take Derrick Henry out. Now who's he going to throw to? And then do you really want to trust?
What was surprising, Tommy, was how do you take Henry and make him run to the edge for most of his carries against Von and Rousseau? Yeah, it was ridiculous. They were getting a little bit of success inside. You had a somewhat depleted interior D line,
right?
And the offensive coordinator went full retard. And every time that outside run happened, you would get a loss. It would kill a drive and take Henry right off the plate.
Yeah,
it was terrible. It was terrible. Yeah. Even I think Vrabel was saying we got to give our back opportunities and the right runs to get successful. Right. It was bad.
Yeah, it was real bad. So so speaking of that game, like I said, so moving forward against you guys, I'm not too familiar with running backs, but either way, I don't think that's going to be a concern for us. So we'll be taking the running game out pretty quickly.
Yeah.
And it's going to rest on Tua, right? It's going to be a Tua game. I could definitely see Tua throwing for probably over 40 attempts in this game. It's going to be that kind of game. And then it comes down to your defense. And I know you guys got some guys banged up as well, right? Howard is banged up a little bit.
Yeah, he's really damaged.
Right. So can you guys slow our offense down enough?
No.
Is the question. Because even if our defense slips up, that's the problem.
The only thing that we can do for you guys, we cannot slow you down. We've had very poor defense. We blitz 40% of the time, and we have some of the lowest pressure in the league. And a lot of that is because we're lacking the yellow corner and stuff. Mm-hmm. The only thing we can hope to do is get that pick, get that key stop with the offense playing, a volley serve, and then you get to that one point where, you get the big stop, you get a pick, you get it, and then you get that win because our defense is really struggling. Our linebackers are not really playing up to standards. We're not getting the pressure we want. Phillips on the outside. He's not finding his way just yet. Your offensive line is very good and deep. You got, I don't know, is Knox playing? He was injured. He's playing.
He'll play. He had something with his. He had something with his foot, but he wound up going back in. I think he was limited, but he practiced, but it was limited. He's going to play. The other guy was Poyer was limited, but he'll play. Who else was limited? Trying to think who else was limited. There was somebody else, but the only guys right now that are definitely 100% ruled out is Ed Oliver, Dane Jackson, and Jordan Phillips and Micah Hyde. So, I other than that will be, and Gabe Davis was also limited, but I have a feeling Gabe Davis will play in this game.
Yeah, Kumro actually surprised me a lot. You guys got a lot of depth.
Me too. I'm not, I'll be honest, I'm not a Kumro fan. However, he plays very good special teams, and that's why we keep him on the team. He's a special teams player. But I got to admit, when his number was called, he made plays, and there were big plays in that game. But we have, I honestly, I'd rather not him be the we have enough pieces without Kumro needing to be involved. Like, you got Isaiah McKenzie, you got Crowder, who I think was not used totally right last week, but we didn't really need him. But I think he's going to play a big role in this offense. He's like a Cole Beasley for Josh Allen. He's like a security blanket. When we need him, he's going to get open. He's a vet. And then you got Diggs, who's just playing out of his mind, man. So we have a deep wide receiver group. And also Knox, by the way. Knox hasn't really, not that he's played bad, but he hasn't had that breakout game yet. It's going to come. It's going to happen.
Yeah, well, the thing is, you have to be realistic as a Dolphins fan. We have not stopped you. We're lacking Jones. Howard's got a groin issue, which means he's not going to really be able to play press man all day long. He'll play some, but they don't want to run that tire out and blow it out. So he'll play a lot of over coverage. That's what he did last week. Now, he could have had the huge pick against Lamar. He's going to bait Allen probably through most of the game, and that's what's going to be the big deal. Holland over the top, and Howard, and even this guy, Kudo, as a rookie, I can't always forget his name. He's been playing really good. He came in at nickel, and he's been, because Needham, the nickel guy, has been playing out wide. He's been playing really good too. So the goal's got to be for us is if we get a chance to make a pick, to make it happen, and the offense is playing volley for serve, and we can get that extra down or so to make it happen. Because Allen's, Lamar beat us hard, and he wasn't even really running. He's purposely not running to protect himself. He wants that extra contract. He wants the new contract.
Right.
And he's running to be kind of conservative. But when he wanted to, there was some big runs there. And Allen, I keep saying over and over, Allen's not scared. He's just going to do it. He's already got the paid, and he's got the mindset. And it's going to be tough for us to contain him. But if we get an opportunity, we're going to have to make one or two stops on a drive, get a punt, and made a big turnover. And it's all going to come down to offensive line versus your defense. And to me, if Tehran's not in, I don't see how we do it. If Tehran's in, I see possibilities, but still a long shot.
Yeah. Somebody mentioned, no, Oliver is out. I wish he was in. He's officially
he was ruled out. I just saw it. I mean, maybe I just checked a little.
Maybe they haven't updated the website, but he is out per everybody's.
And Tim Settle is in tank, which I actually prefer the swapping. I'd rather have Settle out and Oliver in. So what would you say? You nailed it last week. I thought you said 36-13 or something.
No, that Mikey. Well, on the NFL overtime, I didn't give a prediction. I said it was going to be a blowout. But Mikey said 36-13. On our show, which was Friday Night Lights, I predicted 41-10, and it was 41-7. I was super.
That's aces.
Yeah,
that's aces.
You're not gonna like my score. You're not gonna like it, but I'm gonna go 41-13 this game. I think we hold you to 13 points like the Patriots did. I think how I see it going, and it's weird how we've been playing, but we're gonna give up an early touchdown, just like the first 2 weeks. And it seems like Leslie Frazier, kind of like a boxing match. He wants to, see what you got at first, and then he's gonna adjust, right? And that's how we've been playing. Like, if you see our defense, we give up it's early game in the first quarter. We give up that early touchdown. Frazier adjusts, and the defense starts to get on a roll. And same with the offense, really. The offense it's peaked in the third and fourth quarter. Last season and the season before, it was the opposite. We started off hot, and Dable didn't adjust in the second half, and we started to go down on offense, right? So this year is a little bit different. I think Ken Dorsey's doing a great job. Same with Leslie Frazier, in-game adjustments, just seeing what the offense and defense is doing and making their adjustments, and teams are having a tough time countering. And
well, here's some mitigating factors for my Fins. You're going to be playing in the heat, and that's a mitigating factor. You're coming off a short week.
We are.
And, all it takes really is a little bit for Waddle and Hill, if the time is there, to catch that football and to then inflate what Miami's able to do. And I think there is a possibility we can keep. For me, we must win it, either win or have a shootout close loss.
Right.
And I think Tehran's going to play. My man Tehran is going to play. But if he's not 100% against Vaughn, I think he'll do okay, but not good enough. If he's not in, I mean, I could see us back to that 13 points type thing, because, everyone wants to focus on Tua and speedy wide receivers. But if there's no time, you do not get those passes off, especially when you're a guy like Tua. Tua, he needs nice windows because he's not short. He's not like, he's taller than Drew Brees, but he needs decent windows, and he's got good maneuverability, but he's not like Lamar or Allen. So he needs a certain level of protection. And if that protection is not there, you could see the Patriots, who are a pedestrian offense, they were pressing things.
Yeah.
And so it really, I could see if Tehran's in, I don't see it as a 13-point game. I mean, if it is, if Tehran's in and the Miami Dolphins only put up 13 points, it's a huge indictment on this team build. There is no reason on earth, with the vast trove of investments that Miami's made, to be at home, even though the Bills are a great team, and to have the injuries they have in that secondary and put up 13 points. If that's the case, I'm going to light my hair on fire for the next podcast or something, because it's run for the door time. If Tehran's in, we have to be within 3 or 6 and put on substantial amount of points to justify what we've got here, because we're losing picks for Ross. Greer makes some amazing picks at certain positions, but he struggles on the offensive line. So, how's he going to find an offensive line when you're going to have to get a second cornerback when Byron Jones goes, and add all the other stuff, linebackers and all this? It is going to be a horror show if this ends up being the case. If your prediction's true, I might just not stop doing the show because it's going to be humiliating. But I don't think that's the case. I think Tehran can give us an opportunity. I think it's a long shot for us to win either way, but I don't view it as a year where we have to beat you guys. My floor for the ceiling is to challenge you, even if we lose, to be second in the division and to make the playoffs. If we could do that, then our build is justified, our direction is justified, and then next year is when we should, according to the trajectory of the build, be able to vie for you. So if your score is correct, forget about it, man. Forget it.
Well, I said that. Yeah, we did a show just a second ago, and I said the same. Somebody was asking if it was if it was the Bills' first test, and I said I don't see it that way. I see it like this is more of a test game for the Dolphins. And if the Dolphins, even if this game winds up being 37-34, and even if Buffalo wins, that's a win for the Dolphins, like you said.
Yeah.
That shows that you guys are getting there, right? Like really close to getting there. But if it's a blowout, right? Then there's work to do.
I mean, just think about it. Think about it from a Finn standpoint. Okay, you've got Elam and Benford in, along with an injured Poyer, and the rest of the cast, which aren't stars. If we can't put points on now, and then you're going to add in over the next 2 or 3 years, Poyer won't be here, but he'll be here for the rest of the year. He might be going on next year. Hyde might be going. Who's Hyde? You think's the guy who's going to go?
Well, Poyer's on his last year, so
Poyer's on his last year.
We're hoping to get him. I hope they give him an extension, though. I really do, Curtis. Sorry to get off that, but man,
I got a little confused. Over it.
Yeah, that's right. But Hyde's coming up too, though. Hyde is coming up.
So
a couple seasons.
You figure the next 2 years, you're going to have Trey, you're going to have Dane back, Benford, Elam, and probably either or. Some miracle happens. Both Poyer and Hyde. If we can't score now, what's going to help us score a great deal next time? We got it. We got to make this close.
Well, and to your point, I love those guys, and man, we have they're still the best safety duo in the NFL, in my opinion. The duo. I want to get that right. Okay.
Yeah.
But to be honest with you, it all starts up front. The four, right? That D line is really where it's at with us right now. And I love our corners. I'm not saying like they aren't taking, they aren't responsible for what has been going on, but if we're stopping the run like we've been and getting to the quarterback with 4, and then not to mention Tremaine Edmonds and Matt Milano are just so key to this defense, and they're flying all over the place. It's tough for quarterbacks to get the ball out of their hand quick when you got somebody in your face, and then you got to rely on your receivers to get yards after catch. It's tough. You see how it goes. Yeah.
Plus, we're not going to – the only runs that we've had so far, really for the most part, are edge runs. And you guys are excellent at stop. You saw Henry getting stopped. So if we can't run to the edges, we're forced to run inside. I don't know if we can run inside. Then we're going to be stuck in a heavy pass look, maybe off schedule.
Right.
And if we can't stop that pass rush, then it's very big trouble. So to me, the offensive line, the builder of the offensive line deserves all the credit for what happens and all the blame for what happens. You can add a little caveat if Tehran's not in, but you signed Tehran on a big contract and you knew his injury history. And so there is some attachment to that. So.
And by the way, I know we're playing in the heat, but there's a lot of Florida boys on my team. Gabe Davis. I'm just saying, Gabe Davis, UCF, right? True. Devin Singletary, FAU. Who else is from Zach Moss played in Florida for a while, or is from Florida. So there's a lot of Florida ties on our team. Gregory Rousseau's from Florida, so played for the Hurricanes. So I went it, even Josh Allen, even though he's a West Coast boy, he was in part of California. So I don't know if that the sun is going to affect, I get its home field, but we also, everyone knows Bills Mafia travels very well. I would not be surprised if you hear a lot of Bills fans there, just a heads up. And I know the Dolphins fans will be there representing, but I'm just saying we travel very well. So, it's going to be a loud game on both sides, fan base wise. So.
Well, it's good. Look, it's going to be what it's going to be. I think we're going to get a better glimpse of Miami, of who they really are than the Bills.
That's your this is the test. This is a test.
This is the truth. This is the true test. Miami is injured and all this other stuff, but they're home and they got a chance to show themselves. So this is it. We'll see. I hope I don't have to do a 38-13 podcast afterwards. I really don't.
Hey, I did a live podcast when we lost to the Jaguars. So it's tough when you go live on these things, but you got to do it win or lose. It sucks. But trust me, losing to Urban Meyer.
I couldn't believe that last year. Right. See, that gives me hope. See, if Urban Meyer and Jacksonville can beat the Bills, then there's a chance that we can block. And I'm telling you, Tom, if somehow we can hold that pass rush, then I think you'll have a game. That's my prayer.
Yeah, you gotta pray. You gotta pray, man.
All right. Let's move on. I think we beat this thing down to a dead horse. Let's take a look at some of these other games. Get a look at them. You got Kansas City versus Indianapolis. Now, I know you said Ryan's done. I said I think Ryan could still play.
And I
But
flipped on that a little bit because you kind of convinced me when I was looking through his stats going, you know what? He's actually still playing at a pretty high level as
right.
far as yards goes. But I was more looking at his age and just he's not as fast. Like he never was fast, but he's getting really slow in the pocket. Like even stepping away from like blitzes. And I noticed that in Atlanta, even though Atlanta was bad, but you see it like with the Colts now, he's getting sacked a lot. He's not making the best decisions. And I'm not saying it's all his fault, but the Colts.
No, do you know how much pressure he's had?
Yeah.
He's had like 17 sacks.
Right.
Oh no, 7 sacks and like 18 hits or
But
something like that.
Yeah, that's on the coordinator too, though. You got it. So you got to switch it up. You got to get the ball out of his hand quicker. If the offensive line can't block, get it out of his hand, figure it out. You got to do some crosses, slants, something. But you can't let him get.
The problem is they don't got receivers, man. They don't got receivers. The offensive line was supposed to be very good, and it's backed. Allen was supposed to be like a Tannehill, a piece of the puzzle, but he's coming there, and now he's supposed to be the puzzle, and it can't happen. All right, so I don't blame him so much. He's not going to carry. I never expected him. I expected him to be a piece of the puzzle and have that awesome run game, have protection, but it's all collapsing around the guy. So I don't see them beating KC.
No, KC.
This 0-3 is an ugly hole.
That's 0-2 is a bad hole, but 0-3 is a really bad hole. And no, I would be very, very surprised if Indy beats KC. KC is still playing at a high level. They're still playing at a high level as long as they got Mahomes at quarterback. I hate to say it, and Kelsey at tight end. Their defense has improved as well.
I gotta feed the fan anger. They're all yelling at Tua and Allen and back and forth. It reminds me of the old days in the bar. I had to put this stuff up, guys. I missed it. I missed those days.
The Kelly Marino
days. Each other in the bar and getting kicked out. Remember those days? I used to love those days. Anyway, I'm sorry for cutting you off.
No, go ahead. But yeah, either way, I don't see Kansas City. I don't see the Colts beating Kansas City. Matter of fact, this could be just an ugly game for the Colts, and it sucks because I love Frank. I think Frank Reich's a good coach, but I just think, man, you know what it was when they got Matt Ryan. I told you it's not so much that I don't think Matt Ryan's totally done, but they got to get a young quarterback there. You know what I mean? Like same with the Lions. Like eventually, not saying Goff is old, but they got to eventually get their franchise quarterback. And the Colts have been like just grasping at these vets. Like, you know, eventually you're going to have to go young. You got to get a quarterback in there, right? And they just haven't yet.
The problem is their team build is so off.
Yeah,
because it's off schedule. You remember, it's a team build has to all come together and gel and flow in the right way. Like what the Bills did. The Bills, they got their quarterback, and then they waited like a year or two before they started investing, like in free agents. They because they understood that my quarterback's got to get to a certain point. We're going to put all these pieces together. And then when he's ready to go and we're going to hand that big contract, we got to keep this thing going for 3 or 4 more years because at a certain point we got to cut back down. Right. Indy is all over the place. They got the big free agents. They got some guys that are paying money, and so it's just not a good team.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with that.
Oh, anyway, somebody was saying, Will, I ain't doing no donation button here until I get my act together. I'm German, man. So when I get my shtick and my machine running and humming like a German machine could, then maybe I'll think about that because I can't charge for an unproofed product. But thank you for the thought, Will. You're a good guy. I might need a condolence card though from you if my team does not win, Will. Okay.
Oh God.
Anyway, so what's the next game you want? Oh, Pats Ravens. I find this intriguing. Do you,
Yep.
or am I just being nuts?
It is intriguing. So New England surprised me last week, even though Pittsburgh by the offense is terrible. So
Yeah.
far. I thought Pittsburgh was still squeak at home. I thought Pittsburgh was going to win. Yeah, suck it, car. Yeah. That's Mikey. That's
You're
Mikey,
all
by the
hot,
way.
brother. You're all hot.
That's Mikey, by the way, our non-contact injury guy.
Hey.
But anyways, I thought Pittsburgh was going to win. I did. I thought their defense was going to do enough at home. Mike Tomlin is a great coach. He always has a team prepared.
He is.
But their offense is so bad. They just cannot. They can't score. So New England did just enough. By the way, New England's offense still stinks. They still stink.
Yeah. Oh,
I'm gonna be real with you. That's not gonna work out. The coordinators there with Judge and what's his name?
Patricia.
Patricia is not gonna work out. That's gonna be a total failure. I think Mac Jones still a couple of those passes were dangerous. He got lucky with the one because that should have been picked off, but the receiver bailed him out. Great catch.
Yeah.
But I will say this once again, though. Their coach is one of the best, if not the best, and he always has his team prepared as well, Belichick, and his defense always comes prepared.
Dude, Tommy,
If
you get a chance, go back and watch Week 1 against the Dolphins. He had such.
Yeah.
I went back and I could not. When I saw it, I was like, "Oh, okay." But when I went back, I totally got it. I was like, "Wow, man, this guy really is."
right. Yes,
a good coach, man.
100%. Like whenever we play them, it's tough. Like now, mind you, we blew them out in the playoffs, but normally they're close games. Normally they're
they were the playoffs a different animal.
Yeah, different animal. But either way, I think he's going to have a plan for Lamar, and I think this is going to be another close game because of defense, but because of New England's terrible offense, they're not going to be able to do what you guys did to Baltimore, right? Even as bad as Baltimore's defensive been playing, I don't see New England going ham and everyone talking about Mac Jones next week throwing 6 touchdowns, right? Like it's not going to happen. I'm telling you now. But this game, I could definitely see it being like a 3 to 7 point game, somewhere around there, and it can go either way. I got to be real with you. I'm going to lean towards Baltimore because I think Baltimore's offense they're going to score a little bit more than New England's offense, but it could go either way. I don't know. This is a toss-up game for me, honestly. I don't know how you feel, but I give it a toss-up game.
The surprising thing for me is obviously McDaniels with the Raiders is he is really good. I mean, I don't know how many times he just knew when to get that screenplay off, and he would get that rub, and he would get that small combo just to pick up that just enough for the first down. And it shows like the difference between most coordinators are the same. They're based on their talent. There's a handful though that are able to, within the framework of a game, to get that feel and to get that play off, to get a little extra. And Mac Jones is missing that. But I don't understand why they're not leaning on Ramondre Stevenson more.
That's odd. That is odd.
More. And I don't understand. Again, Bill is so smart, and it just seems like he's being stubborn here. I wanted to put the benefit of doubt towards him because of who he is, and I like what happened last year. But there's a huge ocean of difference between Mr. Manila Patricia and flashy McDaniels. It's just it's too big.
Night and day. It's night and day. It's a totally different.
Yeah.
And I think it's bad for Mac Jones too. I think it's bad for Mac Jones' development because he came into a perfect system with McDaniels, right? Perfect offensive coordinator, and now he's with this tug of rope offensive coordinator thing, which I can't stand.
Yeah.
And who knows who really calling the plays anyways, right? That's another who knows. And
Bill's son in the background.
who knows, right? And I feel like it's going to, it has to be throwing his kids his development a little bit off. It has to be. Right? Now you got a whole new setup, a whole new offensive like scheme.
Yeah.
And to your point, why?
This is what happened to Tua.
Yeah, exactly. Like Tua never.
Again, I hate to do it because you're in your glow. I can see you glowing. There's like a little red rosy glow around you as you enter this game. So I don't want to make it any brighter because I might lose my coronas. My eyes might burn out because you're just so rosy. But it goes back again to instilling that framework to get Allen in and develop him in a coherent manner. Right. Tua has finally got a coherent manner after 3 years. But I feel like the offensive line's not there, and then you got Mac Jones, who had a very coherent, he had won a great rookie season, because all things considered, and now he's going into the abysmal pit of a bad framework. Right. And it's a shame because it's all about that. Very few guys can escape a bad framework.
Yeah, I 100%. Well, that's why, listen, that's why I was so rough on Tua, and I'm still not saying Tua's terrible. Like, I want you guys to understand this. I've always felt bad for, I feel bad for Tua, not now, but I mean, because now he's finally seems like maybe he's got the right coach and the right system. But since he was drafted, it seems like it's been just not good for him. Mentally, terrible. Right? And how many times do you want to hear your name in trade talks or your coach gets fired, or you got your owner wanting to get Tom Brady, it just if I'm Tua, I'm like, man, do they want me? So it just, I don't know, man. And then you had the whole first season, which was so awkward for him, and maybe now, like you said,
back to Ross.
Yeah, but maybe like you said, now maybe Ross, since he's suspended. He had no choice but to back away. And, maybe now the coach is taking charge, and maybe he's feeling a little bit more comfortable.
I want a little inside baseball about your Bills. I don't know anything about the owner. Is he like the guy who just signs checks and stays quiet?
Yeah, so Terry and Kim Pagula, they own the Sabres as well. Bad. I don't watch hockey, but they're terrible. So they don't do what they did with the Bills, but apparently. But anyways, do they? No. So they're involved, but I think they're more involved in the, charity stuff, and you know what I mean? They're not.
That's the perfect owner.
Yeah. So what they did was, and what I love, they made their crucial mistake when they first bought the team, and they hired Rex Ryan, which, by the way, I wasn't totally against it because I thought Rex Ryan did pretty well with the Jets. Especially, they were limited on offense, and he got them pretty far, but he just wasn't the answer. And I think they understood that. That's why they gave him, I think, two years. But what they did right was when they hired McDermott came from Carolina, which Brandon Beane was there, and then they hired Brandon Beane the same, I think, 4 months later or somewhere around there. So they already had the connection. So it was just like a perfect fit. They stepped away. They let those two do their thing. And that's exactly what they do. You never hear them chiming in, ever, never. So
that's a perfect owner. That's a perfect owner. That's what, I mean, to me, I think Ross has been a disaster, but if he can learn from this and just stay quiet, I still have my concerns with Greer. I still have some concerns that he's going to be able to, pull together the offensive line. But that's the kind of ownership you want. That's the kind of ownership I hope I get here in Miami. So we'll see. Yeah. We'll see. But anyway, I don't know. I'm kind of seeing the same thing as you. 3-7 points difference. I think that Bill can contain Lamar. Lamar's not. He's got an injury. He's got some weapons limitations. So I think it'll be a good game.
Yeah,
but
definitely.
If the Pats win, that's. I think they can get back to that 9 or 10 wins, which is not what they're used to, but it's still respectable.
And I had them at 8. I had them at 8 wins this year, which is still not terrible for everything that's going on over there. By the way, I had you guys at 9 or 10 wins, so wasn't like I have you guys playing bad either this season.
Now I see us as like between 9 and 11.
Okay.
9 and 11. That's what I see.
So we're pretty much kind of
I wanted to mention a comment. I wanted to mention a comment. Chris, he's always commenting. He's got some great comments. He said, he goes, look, you look around the league, and we're the only division, AFC East, without a winless team. So it really looks like the AFC East is building into a quality team, a quality division. And that's going to lead me to my next little matchup here. Mm-hmm. And that is the Jets versus the Bengals. To me, that's interesting because Jets got a win last week that was like, what?
I couldn't believe that.
I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe it.
But that was more on the Browns. I'm going to be honest with you. That should have never happened, ever. That blown coverage, they were just like standing around. They scored like that should never ever happen.
The Jets put themselves in position with. Well, let me remind you, Flaquito. They got Flaquito.
He's playing. He's playing pretty well.
Moved faster, and they got themselves in position.
Yeah.
So
but that's a Cleveland Browns kind of thing. And even though they got the win against Pittsburgh Thursday night, they're not very good either. They're a struggling team as well. So like I wouldn't take too much from that. The Jets should have lost that game against anyone else. I don't see that, that had a decent defense that's not just letting guys run wide open. Yeah, that but that's what you get for putting the stupid elf thing as your mascot. What is that?
The Browns, man, they're really in a bad state of affairs, man.
They always are in a bad state of affairs.
Now, but okay, so is Burrow going to survive? Is he going to get more hits? I mean, how many hits can this guy take before he explodes?
Not many.
At what point does this guy blow up?
Not many. You always talk about Josh Allen taking hits. But let me tell you, Burrow's taking massive hits. and they're not only their hits, you don't see them coming sometimes, which are the worst. So he's just getting swamped. It's going back 2 seasons. They just cannot give him time. And the Jets are probably going to continue. They're going to do what other teams do.
Cool,
they're going to bring it. But I still think, listen, Chase is still unbelievably good, and Burrow still is really good, and they have a hell of a running back. I think the Bengals are a better team. They should win. They should win.
They gotta win.
Yeah, if they don't,
Scott.
Yeah,
I did a whole study on this one, Scott. It's the design of the offense. The offense is a vertical, heavy vertical. You go look at their intended air yards, it is absurd. To me, the structure of the offense, the design of the offense, the philosophy of the offense, everything is this heavy vertical offense, and you don't have an offensive line capable. And it's okay to have that intention, but they are relentless about using it week in and week out. They don't care. You can have 5 Hall of Famers on the defensive line, and they're going, we're throwing deep. They don't care. And to me, It's not about Burrow. Is his design of what his job is to hold that football. It's to sit there under the pressure and navigate through his reads and then get the ball out. And don't care if he explodes or not. So to me, it's not so much Burrow as it is the offensive coordinator and the head coach.
He, to what they're saying, I will say the offensive coordinator, until they get that line fixed, they do need to, he needs to take what's given more than holding the ball for somebody to get open, like on a deeper play or, a big play. Like he has to, Curtis, because he's going to get eaten alive. So take what's given, don't stay in the pocket too long. But he just doesn't have a lot of time. But the coordinator needs to figure it out, whether that's, like I said, a slant, something, curl, get Mixon going early. That will open maybe a play action for him. But you have to start getting the ball out a little early because he's going to take, I'm telling you, he won't make it the whole season if he continues to get eaten up like this. He just won't. It's just not going to happen.
Well, here's a simple thing for those who think it's him. When's the last time you saw a game where Mixon was a dominating force and they were winning off play action and they won through him running the football? This guy's a stud. You watch this guy run, and they're not bad. They're not bad run blockers. And you got a defense that keeps you in games. The half the time these games are high-scoring games because he gets like 5 interceptions and fumbles and gives the other team easy points, and then he's got to make it up. When's the last time Mixon ran the football, carried the team, the load, and then had that film go to the next week so the opposing defense goes, you know what? Maybe they're not going to go vertical all game. Maybe we got to pay attention to this Mixon guy. And to me, that's the key. That's like a big tell.
But you still can get the ball. You still can get the ball out a little earlier though. Like Mixon is actually a good get out the backfield pass catcher. So you could definitely use Mixon a little bit more. I just feel like I said, right now with the offensive line struggles, which by the way, that's on Cincinnati. That's on the GM and the coach for not bringing in good offensive linemen to protect this guy.
Well, their offensive line semi-capable. What's his name? Laleel Collins, okay, and what's the other guys? Jonathan. I can't remember the guy's name right now. It's like the small dude they're okay tackles, but they're not master pass protectors to be left on an island on their own, play in and play out for 3 and 4 seconds. I mean, I can't remember the guy's name. I was slipping, like Old Timers is kicking in, but I did a whole study on it. This guy was getting beat like, hello, you're my left tackle? And I've got like an elite special quarterback, and that's my left tackle?
Like, it's going to be listen, if they lose to the Jets, there's going to be something's going to happen. I'm going to promise you that. 0-3 can't go 0-3.
No.
A team that just went to the Super Bowl, 0-3. That's a
Super Bowl letdown right there.
Yeah, that's a terrible start, especially if Burrow's just under fire again. Like if the Jets are bringing it and he just cannot escape, then I don't know who it was.
Somebody was saying it's like luck all over again.
I don't think it happens though. I'm going to take Cincinnati in this game.
All right.
I think it was a fluke win. I think the Jets should be 0-2. I'll give them the credit for coming back, but there's no other team would have at least not a relatively decent team would have let the Jets come back, and that was just bad defense, bad overall, man. So
I'll say this: I think that you're right. The Jets are going to lose, but if they can make this a game. That's to me is a nice trend line.
Start, yeah.
All setting up. Look, if Wilson sucks, it don't matter. But if you get this good trend line, and then you get Wilson in there, and he could start being like even a 7 out of 10, that's a nice framework for a Jets franchise that's been struggling for a long time. Now, if Burrow wins and still gets beaten up, to me, it's very, very, very scary.
I agree.
All right, so next, here's Raiders versus the Titans. Who's going 0-3?
So
I know.
That's a tough one. So let's see here. So we got where are they playing? Are they playing? Yeah, let me look here. Let me look. So you got so they're in Tennessee. Man.
This is a real disappointment for both franchises.
I'm gonna lean towards the Raiders in this. I think they got a little bit more weapons than Tennessee right now. I think Tennessee, if you shut down, like you saw, if you shut down Derrick Henry, Titans are super limited, especially after losing A.J. Brown. Super limited. And I don't know the injury update on their what's his name, the tackle Taylor Lewan, who got injured in our game.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's playing or not, but if he's out, that's a big loss for them as well.
It is.
And the Raiders were close. I believe they were close against the week one. They were been in their game. So
yeah,
Tennessee,
they still beat the Giants. It was just they got like 238 yards on the ground.
Yeah. So I'm gonna go Vegas Raiders in this game just because I feel like they got a little bit more offensive power. And I think Tennessee is just limited right now. And if you stop Derrick Henry, even slow him down. You saw what the Giants did even against Henry, right? They slowed him down, and they made it into an ugly game. And the Giants got a not lucky, but they pulled out a victory that probably shouldn't have won. But they did because they made the game ugly. And it was an ugly game. So I see the Raiders winning this game in Tennessee. It might be close. I'm going to give the Raiders I'm going to say the Raiders win by 10 points. I think it's close up until the fourth quarter and the Raiders pull away.
I'm not an expert on the Raiders, but I know Vrabel, and I think Vrabel's got his team at home against the wall. Their defensive team that, I want to believe the Titans can win this one. I want to believe they're going to take this one. I want to believe that McDaniel, he's cutting. I mean, they're in the process of totally remaking this franchise with a lot of bad picks. And I like what they're doing on offense. But I'm gonna take Tennessee. I'm gonna have to go with Tennessee. I mean, but this is just me. I
don't hate it.
I really like the Titans. I like their style of play. I like the fact that the team is old school. So it could be like me getting, I might have too much estrogen running through me today and getting emotional. I don't know.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna go Titans.
All right.
And then I guess. Yeah. Well, come on. You don't have to be nice, Tommy.
I don't hate it because I listen. I'm not as big on Derek Carr than like other people. Like I think Derek Carr is a good quarterback, but I don't think he's a quarterback that's gonna take this team to the Super Bowl. I just don't see it. Like
unless all the pieces are there.
I mean, all the pieces, and I just. But once again, I go back to the Tennessee thing, man. They just lack weapons on offense. They do. And their offensive line is their offensive line. Their offensive line is not what it was, man. It is not what it was. And
not right now.
And if you just leave the ball in Tannehill's hand, he's just not going to. I don't think he's good enough to lead the team. You know what I mean? To carry the team.
Yeah.
So I'm going to take the Raiders, but I want to be shocked if the Titans win.
Yeah.
I like Vrabel. I'm agreeing with you with the Vrabel. I like him. He's an awesome coach. One of very few that came out of the Belichick, even though he didn't coach for them, but he played for him. Out of that whole Belichick thing. So we'll see. We'll see, man. Derrick Henry needs to get going though. He has to. They got to figure a way to get him going for them to have a shot.
All right, last one of the night before we do our final wrap up here is going to be Green Bay versus Tampa. Rodgers, he's not happy right now. He's 0-2. Tampa
1-1.
Oh, 1-1. 1-1. And Tampa's what, 2-0?
2-0. Barely beat the Saints.
Barely. You made a good call the first time against Dallas. So is Rodgers going to go there and win and make a turnaround or lose?
Good news for Tampa. I don't know if he's going to play this game. I don't think so, but they did sign Cole Beasley. I think that's a huge signing for Tampa and for Brady. Brady loves those slot guys. Loves them. Loved them in New England. It doesn't matter who you are. If you're a decent slot guy, he's going to throw you the ball and let you make a play. And Cole Beasley is not decent. He's pretty damn good. Now,
He's
mind
on
you,
a practice squad. Did they pull him up?
he's on the I don't know. That's what I'm saying. I don't know yet.
Oh, yeah.
I know and maybe he doesn't play this game because they're probably trying to get him up to speed with the offense because he's not a practice squad guy.
No,
Hope
he's
he's
not.
a really good receiver. So I think, that's a great addition. But their offensive line is not holding up well in Tampa, and Green Bay.
They got injuries on their O-line, too.
They got injuries on their O-line, and their receivers, they need I know the rookie, I forget his name, Lazard, I think he played a lot better last week. He had a rough week 1. This is tough, man. I was wrong last week. I thought Tampa Bay was going to steamroll the Saints, and I was totally wrong. The Saints hung in there for a little bit. If it wasn't for Winston being doing Winston things, they might have had a chance. But no, man. I'm going to go because Tampa's at home. I'm going to go Tampa in this game, but I think it's close, really close. This could come down to whoever has the ball last. I'm talking about 2-minute drive, 1 minute drive.
I think that's very fair.
And if it's in Tom's hand, you can expect probably a win. So I'm going to go towards Tampa because they're at home. And I feel like they have more weapons. Even though Mike Evans, by the way, is not playing, he's suspended.
Yeah.
So that is a big loss. I will say that. But I'm going to lean towards Tampa, and I'm going to say they win by a field goal. I'm going to go 3-point Tampa win, last minute drive. Brady wins it for Tampa at home.
I think that the Green Bay Packers, they've been knocking so long. They've been really cheap as far as bringing in weapons. And if they come out and they're 1-2 and they keep puttering along, it's going to be a bad look, And I don't know if Rodgers' contract is so constricting, and they don't invest in. I mean, the new model is you go out and because receivers are contributing so much faster than they've ever done before. Like as rookies, it used to take you a while as a rookie unless you were ultra special to contribute, but now they're contributing. So you let your star go. Where is that help? I don't know if he's got enough. They look really poor, and I don't know if they're going to be able to get themselves invigorated. I don't know if they're going to be able to get themselves put together. I don't know if this is just an X and O's thing. I haven't watched enough, but I have to believe that the Tampa Bay Bucks at home with Brady, with that ferocious defense that's going to stop the run and force him into throwing and probably get him off schedule with a couple of early runs that go nowhere to take it. I don't know. I'm not a score guy. You know what I mean? Like I'm more I analyze things and stuff like that. But Tampa is, I think they got the edge, and Green Bay, they're up against the wall because it's going to get ugly. Rodgers, if he starts getting angry, he's going to make a fuss and he's going to make everything go in the wrong direction. So,
yeah,
this is definitely a game I'm going to watch, though. Definitely a game I'm going to watch.
Yeah, it's an interesting game. By the way, in the chat, if you look at the V podcast, that is Captain D.
Captain D, how you doing, brother? Miss you. Hope all's well.
He's excited, by the way. He's super excited.
My own over here.
He is super excited, Curtis, this weekend.
Doing good, brother. Doing good. All right. So I want to stop by saying, look, I have people come here to watch my channel. Tommy, I really, you came on, you gave me the comment a long time ago, and you're just a really cool cat. I really consider you a friend. I think you're really good at what you do. You're like my Obi-Wan, and I'm like the Luke Skywalker trying to figure this whole live stuff. This crazy. Tommy had to come on again and like walk me through it with all these buttons and the doodads and So I'm really grateful at what you do. You're a great channel. You're a Bills guy, so I gotta add that in. But for Bills fans, you're awesome, and you got your other stuff. You do hockey. I don't even know anything about hockey.
Yeah, neither do I. I have a guy that does it. I don't know.
You do wrestling, all kinds of stuff. So you're a man of many tools.
Yeah.
So you're a great guy. So tell us about where the people watching here, if they want to catch Tommy, Because I saw somebody say the two good football guys. If you want to check my man Tommy out, you should. And Tommy, tell us where to do that.
Yeah, so Mafia Sports Report on YouTube. I know a lot of you guys who are watching this are Dolphin fans or who are going to watch this again. But my channel, we do a lot of other stuff, other content, like Curtis was saying. So if you're into wrestling, Tuesday nights we do a wrestling podcast. It's not me; I have guys who are doing it. And Wednesday night, I have Rally Towel Sports that cover everything. They're actually Cleveland Brown and Cincinnati Bengals fans, but they cover all the sports. So they're great guys, great watch. So if you guys want to watch that, Thursday I got basketball. Two guys they just joined channel, and then Fridays with me and Curtis. So how we're doing this, guys, is NFL Overtime Podcast. 1 week we're going to be on Ace Per Head, Curtis's channel. The following week you can catch us on Mafia Sports Report, and that's how it's going to go the rest of the year, the rest of the season. So it's just my channel, Curtis channel, my channel, and then we also have the AFC East Shakedown, which sometimes Curtis joins, and that's on Saturday. Yeah,
and I don't have to take a nap. When I have enough nap in me to stay awake.
Yeah, but he's had a blast. He loves it. So
always,
and that is a unique show because it brings a different point of view for every team in the AFC East. So I got Trevor and Juan, great guys. They cover the Patriots. I got Captain D, who's actually in the chat, guys. V Podcast. He covers the Dolphins. And we're still kind of looking around for a Jets guy. That's a long story. But either way, that's what we do on the Mafia Sports Report. So next week, me and Curtis will be there. Same time, 9:30 Friday. So if you guys want, if you can, subscribe. If not, just join us next Friday. And that's it.
Great job, Tommy. Always great, brother. Always great, man. I'm looking for the day that you and I can watch a game together.
Yeah.
No doubt. I really enjoyed this. This has been great. I will remember to say in my podcast this week, we're doing it this Friday because I always forget. I tell myself before I sit down, Curtis, you got to say we're going to have a live show on Friday. And I sit there and the camera goes on and my brain goes like a deer in the headlights and I forget. I will remember. Yeah. I'm going to get Post-its and put it everywhere to remember. So, Tommy, I'm looking forward to this week. Guys, thank you so much for stopping by. It really blows my mind, honestly, that all these people are paying attention to me and Tommy here. So I'm really grateful, guys. Enjoy Sunday. Bills fans, if you guys win or lose, and Dolphin fans, you guys win or lose, listen, we're all humans. We're in this crazy world. It's about enjoying ourselves. And let's just, at the end of the day, we used to play, and even the guys you beat up, you shake your hand at the end, and you move on, and you go forward. So good luck, everybody. Have a great day. Be safe.
Hey, Curtis, don't forget one more thing. Go Bills.
Can't I mute you? I don't know how to do it. I can't do the tech stuff. I'm going to learn the tech stuff, and I'm going to mute you, dude. Anyway, everybody, be well. Go Fins.